minimum. So Simon doesn't get a raise. He loses his job. Edgar is irritated. The minimum wage means that if he wants to stay in business, he has to either invest in machines to do the work that unskilled labourers like Simon were doing, or he has to move production to another country where minimum wage laws aren't a problem. Edgar believes both of these options are less profitable for him than employing local workers. Otherwise, he wouldn't have hired Simon.
Hey Schmitty, it's me and you next.
Yeah, would you like to suck on my ball sack?
No, it'll be you doing the sucking.
I'll suck your butthole.
For Simon,
I've done all 80 curries.
losing
You
his
got
job
3
would have
bands,
been bad enough.
and I'm pretty good
The
at 5
minimum
of them,
wage
so...
continues to disadvantage him, even while he's
You're good at
unemployed.
James, you're good at Caitlin, you're good
Plus
at
he's young and doesn't
that
have
one
much
guy.
experience.
Oh, fuck, I
It's
forgot about
likely
Tristana.
that the extra revenue
God damn it,
Simon's
why do you have to
able
play
to
all the 80
create for
carries?
any employer would be low. Potential employers expect to hiring Simon at the minimum wage, so they turn down his applications.
Your decision is on that.
Simon was glad of his factory job, even with its low wage. He hoped to build up experience, which would raise his productivity and give him a chance to move to better paid and more satisfying work. But the new law prevents him from doing so.
Okay, who's someone I can't deal with? So
This
I
is
can
why
pick him.
the minimum
Since I know
wage has been
since I know who's
described
gonna play
as
if I ban
removing the
3.
bottom rungs from the economic ladder.
I got you all
See social
somewhere else.
interactions that seem unfair. One response is to demand
probably just
that the
put
behaviour we
Xbox.
disapprove of be outlawed.
balls.
But we should keep in mind that this kind of intervention has unintended consequences. Some people suspect that prohibiting voluntary change often does more harm than good. They believe the proper function of law is to discourage the initiation of force, and that we shouldn't create barriers that prevent people from doing their best to peacefully improve their lives. Do a web search for some of these terms if you're interested in learning more.
I think that green skin reminds me of like Leprechaun. It must have been. I've never seen that skin. Have you, Eagle?
Cool. I know who I'll play.
Imagine you have a friend called
yes.
George.
Awesome.
This story was misleading. George isn't being threatened, he's just being asked to pay his fair share like the rest of us. If he doesn't like the arrangement, he can always leave.
Let's start with the question of whether or not the state threatens people. Imagine a desert island. Alden lives with a few other people on this island. One day he meets Jeff. Jeff says,
"Give me your ball, or you'll get a beating."
Jeff's threatening Alden with violence, right?
Yeah, of course. But taxpayers aren't being threatened like that. No one actually gets attacked for not paying taxes.
Okay, let's have Jeff say something different. He says,
"Give me your ball."
"If you don't, I'll have to ask you to hand over your ball and your shirt. If you still don't cooperate, you'll spend the night tied to that tree. And if you resist being tied,
Get a beating.
Now Jeff's defenders could insist he'd never attack someone for something trivial as refusing to hand over a ball. He'd only use violence as a last resort, as a penalty for breaking the rules and resisting the proper punishment. No matter how Jeff explains it though, he is still threatening Alvin with violence, right?
Okay, yes, Jeff's still threatening Albin with violence, even if the violence is a couple of steps removed. But this isn't a good analogy for taxation. For one thing, use taxes to provide services that help people.
Okay, so what if you learned that Jeff just wanted to improve Alvin's ball and give it back to him as a surprise?
I guess I don't see Jeff as so much of a bad guy anymore, but he is still threatening Albin, which isn't okay. There are more differences between Jeff and the state. The state relies on taxation so that it can provide stuff that just wouldn't be possible otherwise, like roads.
Private roads do exist, you know.
Alright then, essential services like firefighters.
There are private fire services too.
Well, what about a reliable social safety net? Charity alone isn't enough.
Before the compulsory welfare state crowded them out, there used to be lots of mutual aid societies. Together with charities, they did a pretty good job of taking care of the needy. Anyway, for the sake of discussion, let's assume that there are some important things that can only be provided using taxation. So Jeff isn't interested in Albin's ball anymore. Now he wants his gold coins. He's collecting money to build a fish farm. There was a serious fish shortage last month, and Albin agrees that a farm would be a good idea, but he doesn't trust Jeff with his money. He'd prefer to use it other ways. Jeff says, "The farm will benefit everyone, and everyone else has paid their share. It just wouldn't be fair if you didn't chip in. That's why you'll get a beating if you don't hand over the money."
Just wants to prevent Albin free riding and an improvement that will help everyone.
But isn't he still threatening Albin with violence?
Are you looking
All
at me
right.
with your eyeball?
But in a modern democracy, it's the
See the
people who
eyeball.
decide the law through their representatives. That's very different to an island where there's no representation.
Okay, let's change things on the island to fix that.
Some of the islanders decide that there should be a ruler with certain powers that other islanders don't have. This ruler is chosen by a vote, and Jeff was the first winner. Like before, Jeff is telling Albin to pay towards the improvements he has planned. If Albin doesn't send the money demanded, he'll be told to hand over even more. If he consistently refuses, eventually, the island guards will show up at his house, take him away, and lock him up. When his kidnappers arrive, Albin could try to get them to leave by shouting a warning and drawing a weapon. But he realizes it's far more likely that he'll be killed than succeed in escaping the state's chain of demands and punishments, at least while he's staying on the island.
Wait. Police officers aren't killers.
They don't usually need to be. But think about it like this. What do you think would happen if there was no danger to Albin of being killed, no matter how far he went in his resistance? If the guards just left people alone who defended themselves powerfully enough, word would get out that you could safely ignore their demands. I think a great many people would choose open resistance. I bet even those who liked the idea of a state would resist. They'd be asking themselves, why should I be the sucker paying a big chunk of my income for all these free riders when there's a safe and easy way out?
The guards hardly ever use actual violence against people like Albin. As long as most people at least have the idea that resistance is futile, it's enough to keep the state functioning. Because the guards very rarely need to use violence, people might even forget that the state is ultimately ready to use deadly force to secure obedience.
Yes, okay, so maybe taxation does depend on threats of violence. But that doesn't mean that taxation is theft. Every citizen is bound by the social contract. You live in the country knowing what's expected of you, and what the punishments are if you don't follow the rules. If you really don't like the terms, most states do allow you to leave. And I know what you're going to say. I never signed a social contract. But that doesn't matter. When the bill arrives in a restaurant, you have an obligation to pay, even though you didn't sign anything. It's the same kind of thing with the social contract. By staying in a country, at least after you're old enough to leave, you're agreeing to abide by the rules, and you're granting permission to have certain kinds of force used against you if you don't stick to those rules.
Hang on a second. The restaurant boss gets to set the rules because he owns the restaurant. It's being the owner
It
of
don't
the thing
matter
that
if
gives
it's
you the right
like
to say who gets to use it and how. Some people say that a social contract exists between the state and the citizen. Okay. But how did the state come to be the owner of the land it imposes its laws on? It's important to know, because if it's not the owner, then the state has no authority to set the terms of use of that land, and it's actually aggressing against the people it taxes.
Some people don't believe that the state is the rightful owner of the land it claims. To understand why, think back to the island as it was right at the beginning, before we made the
No,
changes.
I put
In some
that game.
Okay.
Ready to play you sons of bitches?
So it's Smitty and Optic this round.
Yeah, Schmitty and Optic this round.
The very last round is going to be Smitty and Darley of the round robin.
I don't want to play against Darley because he's a fucking.
And then we'll have to count up wins.
Darley, have you lost yet?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna beat Darley. Okay, let's play.
Wait, you want me to create this one?
Yeah, go for it, Eddie.
I'll just invite everybody.
It's Brad versus Schmitty on this one.
Aw, shit.
Okay. This is streaming?
I'll invite
I think Schmitty's streaming, yeah.
So since it would have been eventually me versus Wolfie, but I'm basically down a match.
No, not
Nah,
this.
we're gonna count you as a win.
Yeah.
All matches against Wolfie, we're gonna count as wins.
Darley's harassing me, man. Darley's a real fucking Jew.
Alright, y'all type your 3 bands.
I'm gonna play again.
Is there any way I can put
Yeah, you're fighting against Optic.
Oh,
Or Brad.
everybody join that side for a second so I can put Brad on.
So, Caitlyn Jinx. Okay.
Okay.
Well, this is blind pick, so it don't really matter.
Well, but that way you get to pick what you want.
Wait, so who do I get? Wait, if he's picked bandlist, who do I get to pick? I don't know the other. Who's the other ADK?
You pick 2 more. So
Right. Alright.
Son of a bitch, I was actually gonna play Rengar this game.
Alright, y'all ready?
Okay, since that's out of the question.
I was like the perfect person to play against Schmitty.
Okay, I'm gonna be Varus.
Duty will know agony.
I'm gonna pick Kaku so I can help.
Hey, Darley. Hey, Darley. Suck my butthole.
I don't know who I want to play.
I'm Varus.
Sure you are.
You could probably check the stream actually if you really wanted to.
Nah, I'm not gonna cheat.
I'm Varus.
I don't care.
It's pretty bold. Yeah, I can tell you. I'm picking.
I'm not sure what I'm play.
Oh, well, just count as Varus.
Nah.
Okay, fucking done then. Play someone who's he's good against.
Just play Varus.
I'm already locked in.
Don't own Varus. Play Varus.
I'm already locked
I'll
in.
go with this. I'll go with
Ego,
this.
why are you
YOLO.
trying to play? Not playing?
What?
Not playing
What do you mean?
on the tournament?
No.
Why?
Because I already have the shit up there. Wait, I don't know.
Like you'd win it anyways. Sorry. You know, we both know it goes to me.
What?
We both know it's gonna go to me.
No. I knew it! I told you that was a good person against Schmitty.
Who?
Schmitty, but be careful, man.
Who's he?
I'm a
LeBlanc.
LeBlanc. Oh, that's not bad. I can do that.
Okay.
Don't fucking question my ability, mother. I don't give a fuck what level we are. He could be level 18, maybe level 2.
Hey.
It's 50% of your health.
Do you actually want to test that?
I don't give a fuck.
I mean, I'll be glad to,
Three
although
hits
you
will
start
change
at
you to
level 3.
like a fourth of your health.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I kind of care a little bit. I'm gonna get this.